Hello everybody. For this knee health foam rolling session, grab a ball of any type, tennis ball, lacrosse ball, even a water bottle, something firm, and a foam roller. We're going to be starting in the feet, so come up to stand, maybe use a piece of furniture for balance, and begin to roll in the medial longitudinal arch, which is a fancy way of saying the main arch of the foot, the most obvious arch of the foot, from your big toe to your heel. Roll forward and back, or if there's any kind of more sensitive spots, you can pause there and lean your weight into it for a couple seconds. With the feet, because it has a lot of intrinsic muscles and tiny bones, you don't want to go too crazy here. Just a nice light rollout. I'm now moving into the transverse arch, which is from the big toe to the pinky toe. So round the toes here, and you can roll around it to start, or you can do what I'm doing here, which is just kind of leaning my body weight into the ball of the foot. And then I'm going to work my way from my pinky toe to my heel, which is called the lateral longitudinal arch. So our foot does indeed have 3 arches to it, shaped like a dome, and that's why it's a shock absorber. Go ahead and switch feet, working into the big arch, the most obvious arch of your left foot. You can play with pointing the toes, flexing the toes. Do what feels acceptable in your feet. And then moving into the transverse arch, so big toe to pinky toe. Either roll it around, or you can, again, see what I'm doing here, do some pushing around. And then moving to the lateral arch, pinky toe to heel, rolling up and down there. If our feet aren't correctly arched, if they're not correctly domed, if they're not taken care of, then our knees become a big shock absorber, which can cause, as I'm sure you can guess, some issues there. Good. Kick your ball to the side, stand hip width distance, lift your big toe, flatten the others, and switch, and switch, and switch. Good. It's working in those muscles a bit. And then come on down, grab your foam roller, and we're going to start with the calf muscles in the low leg. So you're going to set up just like this. Achilles tendon or your heel up toward making with the knee. You can bring your left leg over the right, lifting the hips to weight bear a little bit more. You can go fast, you can go slow, you can find trigger points. The best part about foam rolling is you can turn on music or turn on a show and just listen to your body and roll as much as you need. Go ahead and turn your right leg towards the right now, so you can see my toes are turning to the right, and begin to roll on the lateral or the outside of that calf muscle. So I'm not on the shin bone, still on that calf muscle, just getting a little bit more to the lateral side. And then doing the same on the other side, moving to the medial side or the left side of my right calf muscle. Come back to center, and we're going to hit this muscle I'm pointing out here right onto the right of that shin bone. So you can see I'm kind of flipping over into this pretzel-y lunge position. And you can see I'm not pivoting on my shoulders. I'm just lifting my hips up and down to massage this clearly very sore muscle on the lateral side of the shin bone. This is called the tibialis anterior, and it helps to dorsiflex the foot. Mine is very sore from spin cycling. This may feel tender to you, it might not. And then I'm coming back down, and we're just going to get to the hamstring. So we're skipping the actual knee. We're just targeting the muscles that help support the knee, that can cause tension in the knee. Just rolling up and down that hamstring any way that feels good. I adjust a lot in this video because I had no idea if I was in frame or not. So don't mind me, just roll out your body, feel it out in your own body. Don't focus too hard on what I'm doing or what you look like. And then let's hit the right side of that hamstring. So again, a little bit more the lateral side. We're not on the IT band yet. We're not on the outer thigh yet. Just kind of turning the leg out a bit. We are about to head into the IT band, so go ahead and roll onto your right side, onto your right forearm. And we're going to hit the space in between your knee and your greater trochanter, which is basically that ginormous feeling bone on the side of your hip. That's your femur bone right there. And we're just going to massage in between there. And again, you can go as fast or as slow as your body can handle. My IT band is super tense right now, so I'm really taking it easy. Change your positioning as much as you need. Try and really relax that right leg so that the foam roller can really press into that fascia. A tight IT band is going to pull that whole lateral chain of your leg, that whole outer chain of the leg. So keeping it mobile, keeping it flexible is super important. Let's flip onto our tummies to this little frog position and start to roll up and down the quadriceps. Again, avoiding the knee. We're not going into the kneecap, but still going on top of it. Making sure that you're not just getting the middle part of the quad, that you're getting up towards the hip bone and then down towards the knee without crushing your patella, your kneecap. You can try getting a little bit more on the lateral and the medial side. As I've said 100 times before, feel it in your body. Explore. Don't feel like you need to be rigid in the rules. And just observe what you feel, what areas of the body are holding tension. We're now going to get into the outer glute / outer hip. So we're above the greater trochanter, as I was just pointing out. We're not quite on the TFL yet. You're basically on the side of your butt cheek, getting into the glute medius. For me, this feels really nice. It almost gives a similar sensation to being in pigeon pose for an extended period of time. Make sure you're getting up. It should feel like you're almost going towards the spine, almost towards the back, kind of towards the SI joint, and then getting all the way down to that greater trochanter. So here I'm pointing out our next place, which is the TFL, or tensor fasciae lata. So your hip point should be on top of the foam roller, and you're massaging into that space, kind of just to the right of it and down slightly. You will know when you have found this muscle. This muscle blends into the IT band. So if you have tight IT bands or a lot of outer knee tension, you cannot forget this muscle. I know it looks like I'm on the front of my hip, but I'm kind of on this diagonal, this 45-degree angle, and you can probably see by my face expression, I found a really good spot there. Depending on, of course, how inflamed or angry your muscles may be, this may be really easy to find or really challenging to find, just like every other muscle. Just explore. And then we're going to come onto our glute and just do the glute max. So you're basically just sitting on top of the foam roller, rolling forward and back. I'll be honest, I get almost nothing, almost no feedback from this. I don't know if it's because my glutes just naturally don't work really hard or if I've just got too much cushion back there, but it still can feel a little bit nice to roll it out. All right, let's go ahead and hit the left leg starting from the top. I'm just going to flip around and put my left ankle on top of the foam roller and start there, starting with the calf muscles from your Achilles tendon up towards your knee. The most obvious part of the calf muscle, that kind of widened part of the calf towards the knee, is called the gastrocnemius. And this is the most superficial calf muscle we have, and it crosses the knee. So when this muscle is, again, either really weak or really, really tight, whether it's because it's weak or because it's super strong and overworked, it can cause some discomfort in the knee. Same with the ankles. If you have any restriction in your ankle mobility, could totally come from your calf muscles being stiffened. So I'm getting that medial side of that calf muscle, not on the tibial yet, not on the tibialis anterior, still on the calf, and moving more towards the medial side. And then I'm turning my leg back to neutral, just taking a couple more passes up and down the length. We're hitting the soleus here. It's the muscle that crosses the ankle joint, turns into the Achilles tendon. And now we're getting into the tibialis anterior, so moving towards the shin bone side of the leg. Coming into our kind of funky lunge here. And again, rather than pivoting on the shoulders, try just lifting the hips up and down. I think I selfishly spent a little extra time on this muscle because mine is so angry. Again, this muscle helps dorsiflex the foot, meaning it helps you flex the foot, not point the foot, which is probably why you can see I'm kind of instinctively pointing my foot. It's because it's helping to stretch the muscle. All right, coming down, let's hit the hamstring on this left leg. Get the dog hair off you. This is where I was really wishing I had vacuumed beforehand. Then lift your hips and just glide up and down on that hamstring. Again, we're not hitting the knee. Getting nice and close to that butt cheek. If it hurts to get near the attachment, then don't get near the attachment. That's just like a philosophy in all movement. If it hurts, don't do it. Discomfort is okay, but hurt, pain, where your body is just going, no, don't do it. You can ignore what I was just doing. I was just getting into those inner thigh muscles. I'm getting on the outer side of the hamstring, not the IT band yet, just exploring a little bit more. All right, let's go ahead and hit that IT band. My face just then, I was dreading it. And start to roll up and down from your greater trochanter to your knee. If you keep rolling over your greater trochanter, it's going to hurt. It's just not going to be comfortable. Just stay in between that space. I used to never feel anything from this. My IT band was just so relaxed. And ever since picking up doing spin cycling from 0 times a week to 3 to 5 times a week, oh man, I now feel some of the pain you guys were telling me about. But it's good. It just means that outer side of my body is getting stronger. If you find trigger points, you can see I pause a couple times. If it's a lot of sensation and a lot of feedback, feel free to just hold still and breathe into it. It can be nice to roll up and down the length of the muscle a few times, just to kind of get it warmed, get it softened, break up some of that sticky fascia, and then get into those trigger points and breathe into them. All right, sliding onto your tummy, getting into the quad. Remembering to make sure you're getting the whole muscle group, not just up high or sticking to the middle. Make sure you're going from the top of the knee all the way up to the hip. Getting the vasti family of quads, which go from your thigh bone all the way to your shin, across at the knee. So these are a really important muscle group to foam roll, to stretch, to strengthen for knee health. Quads are so important. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get into the outer hip. Outer hip is really just another way of saying outer butt cheek. Getting into that gluteus medius, sitting at kind of that 45-degree angle, so you're not on the glute max, you're not on the TFL, you're on kind of that outside edge of your butt cheek. And now let's go ahead and get that TFL. Come on down to your forearm. And you can play here. It's not bad to not hit the TFL right away and to sit on kind of the hip bone, which is exactly what I'm doing right here, because that felt really good. And then you can start to kind of close that right hip down, and you may find the TFL a little bit more. Can I really, my face. You'll know when you find it, but it doesn't hurt if you are somewhere different right now. Keep going with where you're at. You can pause the video. Let your body take the lead here. I'm just giving you ideas. I'm just guiding you through this. And let's go ahead and come onto the glute max on that left side. Straighten the leg, roll up and down. I don't think I've spent very much time here because, again, I don't get a whole lot of feedback from this. Too much cushion for the foam roll push-in. Okay, little bonus here. We're gonna get into our low back muscles, some of those paraspinal muscles. Just rolling up and down the length of the low back just a couple times. And then we're gonna try and hit those QLs. You can see I'm leaning to the left and rolling up and down. This feels so good. And then hitting the other side, just leaning to the right slightly. Not on the rib cage, still in the spine. Just getting the right side of the back. And then coming back down to neutral. Couple passes of the mid back. And then we're going to take that foam roller at the shoulder blades and reach the arms up and overhead for a supported fish pose. You can use a yoga block if you'd like and hang out here for 5-10 minutes. Or you can play around. I'm bringing my hands behind my head, rolling around a little bit, just letting this feel really nice. Coming into a reclined position eventually, taking a few breaths here. You really cannot overdo it in this pose. You're welcome to stay here, open up that thoracic spine, relieve some pressure on your low back and your knees. Otherwise, if you're ready to, take a nice deep breath in and press yourself up. Thank you all so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Namaste.